The rain had not stopped for 3 days, and the small town near the base felt heavier because of it. Mud clung to boots like guilt. People kept their heads down, rushing through the streets, hoping not to get caught in the storm. But on that night, a soldier walked slower than everyone else. His name was Daniel Hayes, a single father, a war veteran, and a man who had learned that rushing never saved anyone. He had one rule: survive quietly. But tonight, that rule would be broken. It started with a girl standing under a flickering streetlight. Her clothes were soaked, her small frame trembling. She couldn't have been more than 13. No one stopped for her. Cars splashed water as they passed, their drivers pretending not to see. But Daniel saw it. He almost walked past. He had a son waiting at home, and trust was a dangerous thing these days. Then she whispered something, almost too soft to hear. They said they'd come back for me. Those words dug into him like shrapnel. Daniel had carried men out of burning streets overseas. He had lost friends whose names still echoed in his dreams. His hands still remembered the weight of their bodies. And yet, somehow, this girl felt heavier than all of them combined. He brought her inside his small, bare house. One night, just one night, he told himself. He gave her dry clothes, made her something warm to eat, and put his son to bed without explaining. But she didn't sleep. She sat at the table, staring at the door, her jaw tight like she was ready to run or fight. By morning, the knock came. Point 3. Men in dark coats stood outside, faces sharp, voices sharper. They demanded the girl. They said she didn't belong here. Their words carried authority, but their eyes carried threat. Neighbors peeked through curtains but stayed quiet. That silence burned worse than the rain. Daniel said nothing. He stood in the doorway, broad and unmoving. His son watching from behind him. One of the men smirked. Do you even know who she is? Daniel didn't answer. The girl stepped forward, her voice shaking but clear. My father's a general. The men froze, and Daniel finally understood. This wasn't a runaway. This was a target. He remembered something his old commander once told him. True strength is not loud. It's the wall that doesn't fall when the storm hits. So he didn't fall. When the men reached for the girl, a black SUV rolled into the street. Doors opened. Soldiers stepped out, not like the men at his door, but real soldiers, with a presence that made the air itself straighten. At their front was a man whose uniform spoke before he did. The general. His eyes scanned the scene. He didn't ask questions. He didn't need to. The men who had come for the girl lowered their heads, suddenly small. No one spoke as they were escorted away. The general looked at Daniel, then at the girl clinging to his sleeve. She tells me you didn't ask her name, he said. Daniel shook his head. Didn't matter. She needed help. The general nodded once, firmly. That's what makes men like you impossible to replace. As they left, neighbors stepped out of their houses. For the first time, they didn't avoid his eyes. Some even stood a little straighter, as if reminded of something they'd forgotten. The girl looked back at Daniel before getting into the SUV. I'll remember, she said. And in that quiet street, Daniel whispered something he'd once said to a friend. Overseas, honor isn't what they give you. It's what they can't take away. Silent heroes rarely ask for thanks, but their actions echo louder than any applause. If you believe stories like this deserve to be told, share your thoughts below. Comment where you're watching from, and subscribe for more stories that honor the ones who stand tall when no one's looking.